listening to the voice of IWA Flip here on Interfed Radio. Welcome to Play Your Way. In studios today, LSL's new manager, Jason Wagner. Jason, welcome to the show.
Thank you. Thanks for having me, Flip.
Oh, man, you know what? Getting new managers on, Jason, is always a pleasure of mine, brother, because I think it's one thing to go back and forth in the bulletins and, talk a little IWA madness on inside the bulletin, but when you get to hear the voice behind, the madness that is the IWA, it's just, it just brings it to life, brother. Glad to have you on here.
Thanks. Glad to be here.
Now, I know this is the first time you're on with us here on Interfed Radio, so I just want to kind of give managers that, don't know you the opportunity to get to know a little of your IWA history, because when I saw that you were coming back, man, I got pumped, brother. And I'm talking about like legit excited. I'm like, dude, I remember this dude. He put a staple in my forehead for crying out loud. I remember this. And oh man, I was jazzed, man. Anytime you hear 2XW, and when I heard that you were making a comeback, I was like, oof. So if you don't mind, telling our listeners, kind of a little of your IWA history. I know we talked a little off air, how like everyone else, you played back in the days as a kid.
Correct. Yeah, I started playing, I think, when I was like 12 or 13. I don't really remember the leagues because that was like forever ago. Like I'd play a couple cycles. I played with my pops. He was actually a pro wrestler back in the day. My first two wrestlers were Kurt Crush and Axe Grinder. Kurt Crush was my dad's wrestling name, and Axe Grinder, I actually got it from the song Mental Health by Quiet Riot.
Nice. I love Quiet Riot, man. Hell yeah.
Like that's how I got like the name. And I'd play here and there. Like my dad didn't have the money, so like I probably played a couple times, and then I didn't play for years. In 2010, my dad died. I was in prison. My dad died while I was in prison. 2010, I got out, and I started playing in like 2011, mid to late 2011. I
think that's when I first crossed paths with you over in the NWL. I think back in the days it was the National Wrestling League, right?
Something like that. Yeah. Yeah, it was for like all the rookies.
Yeah. I remember. That's when I remember crossing paths with My Heart Foundation and your 2XW guys, man. And that was, dude, I had so much fun back in those days, man.
Yeah. I had a blast in the NWL, I'm not gonna lie. It was pretty fun. And then like obviously whenever I was younger, couldn't comprehend the game. So like I played like a kid. And then I was older whenever I started up. I think I was like 27. So I thought I did all right in the NWL, and then I moved to Bloodbath League, Battle Royal League, and CWL.
I think if I can remember back that far, I think back in those days it was still the Gold Rush, or was it already the I War?
It was both. I think I started in Gold Rush, and then it went to the I War or whatever it is. So like I think I was in both, and then I think I was in, is it Texas Death League, Will Wisdom?
Okay.
That was a pretty hard league. I was in there for a little bit. I think that's about it. I might have been like one or two other leagues for a couple cycles, but I primarily stuck to those.
Yeah,
leagues.
man. I mean, right there, what you're mentioning is kind of right around the same path that I think. I think, if I'm not mistaken, Will was in the AWL, running the American wrestling, because for a while they were splitting the rookies up between the national and the American. Because Will is another one that's one of those commissioners here in the IWA that's just consistent as they come, brother. So yeah, Will.
Yeah.
He's a good guy.
Yeah, I liked his league. I liked the league that I was in that he was the commissioner. All right.
Now you've made your return, and like I said, obviously the IWA is a it's a huge association, brother. But you've you made the choice to come to the LSL, and the Louisiana Swamp League is one of the more active leagues in the IWA right now, brother. I mean, it has trash talk galore, has some great managers, and the cast that you brought in, like you mentioned a few of them already, uh, just came in and they like I tell people all the time, you have people that have these characters that have histories of themselves of their own, so these characters,
Yeah,
just because they go to a new league, like I think we mentioned before we got on, just like Ric Flair going from territory to territory, it didn't change who he was. He was in different, that's how he won so many damn belts,
yeah,
claiming every territory. So I think, to see your cast in the Louisiana Swamp League and just ready to dominate, brother. I mean, if you don't mind kind of going over a couple of those characters that you got there right now.
yeah. My first cycle, I brought in Bentley, the Kurt Crush, and the Jester. As I said, you weren't off there. Like a lot of my wrestlers have like some kind of personal connection to me. Like I said, Kurt Crush was my dad's wrestling name. Bentley is my son's first name. Uh, the Jester, my buddy Noid, one of his nicknames he went by was a Jester. Yeah, he died. That is like a memorial wrestler to him. The
Nice.
Red Riot would be like my character for me because he's like the leader.
Nice. I like
Um,
it.
the
Now,
uh, that's probably like the personal ones. The other ones are just like different stuff that I like or that I'm into.
nice. Now,
Uh,
now, Jason. I mean, you've got your first couple This is your first bulletin that you're receiving, or the first one that you received, or
yeah,
not
this
receiving,
last
but the first one that you're in.
yeah yeah the last cycle is my first
Nice.
one back.
Nice. Now, just for anyone listening, the Louisiana Swamp League also has a Facebook. We encourage managers that are in the league to kind of jump on there just to catch some more of the news and info that goes on. Commissioner Timothy Clark and Jerry Horton, along with all their other co-commissioners. Shout out to Commissioner Robert Harper, Commissioner Shane Cole. Who, I mean, they run such a nice program because it varies from different division. They have a exclusive commissioner. Shout out to Double R Rad Ratliff, who runs the women's division there. It's nice. It's a nice place to play because different characters get different attention. I mean, we were talking this Legion character that Robert Harper runs, and shout out to Mr. Harper because he's putting a lot of work into that character, man. And what were your first impressions when you jumped on that Facebook and you saw that Legion character?
Dark, and I kind of like that, like a dark, like a shadowy, uh, like someone in the shadows. I like that. It's pretty cool. I can't wait to see kind of where he goes with that and does with that. I think it's pretty good. He
Yeah,
puts
I
a pretty
mean,
good character and story together, so I like that. Horton helped me with like my first trash talk back because it's been, I think, 18, probably 20 months since I played. Me, him, and Catfish's manager were on a three-way chat on Facebook Messenger, and we kind of got everything set up. Shout out to them too for, what I mean, helping me ease back in a little bit. I'm waiting to see where this angle kind of goes. I got to start writing my angle and stuff up because it's due Wednesday.
yeah, man.
I
I,
like,
I I mean, and I think that's the one thing. I mean, when you reached out and I was like, you know what, bro, take a peek at right here. It's something to help you kind of ease back in. It's a nice place. I know these guys are angle based players, and I know they can, they're helpful. They're not gonna take
yeah,
your legs out from under you and I think that's important in the game.
yeah. Seeing the Facebook page, and I talked to you, and I talked to Catfish's manager. I liked what I seen, and then like I play like an angle based game. I mean, obviously I like the wins. I like winning the tournaments, but for me the angle base is where all the fun's at. That's just my personal game that I play. Uh,
Now,
and I was always in the gold, and this is kind of something new, and it's run a little different. So I figured, what the hell, I'll try it out, and I like it so far. It's first cycle win. I didn't do as good as I would hope that I would, but first time back, I still did all right.
oh yeah, I mean, just seeing your characters up, in a position for gold right now because like anyone playing this game, if you're in the top 10, you put yourself in a position to take shots at the US or excuse me, at the TV title and a shot at the league
League.
title. Yeah,
Yeah.
man. So that positioning in itself plays a big part. And now I'm not going to let you get off, off of this first show without mentioning the staple gun incidents. I mean, because I mean, I wasn't the only one that got stapled. I mean, you were pretty infamous for that staple gun in the gold back in the days.
Yeah. As I mentioned, I like old ECW. That's probably like one of my all time favorites. I've been to a lot of the old shows. I've met a lot of the old ECW wrestlers. Uh, New Jack, he's a staple gun, and in real life, he's a badass. I always liked him. I always liked his interviews. Just his hardcore style. And like I watched like a lot of IWA Japan, like a lot of the that style wrestling is whenever I was a teenager, it's what I preferred to watch. As an adult, it's what I preferred to watch. And I was doing backyard wrestling
Nice.
whenever I was younger, and I got stapled with a staple gun. And I thought, son of a bitch, this hurts. And that stuck with me from 17 to 27. So 10 years that stuck with me. I hurt like a son of a bitch. And I'm
Oh
like,
man.
I'm like, my guns are all going to be extreme. I'm going to staple gun the shit out of some people.
Oh yeah. Hell yeah.
So it's just like, that's just where I got the idea from because I
At
like New Jack. And
LSL, you have been warned, LSL. This is an official warning. You will get stapled, Make sure you keep your pliers nearby.
right, that hurts.
Oh. I mean, when you got stapled, you had a set of pliers ready to pull it off, or did you just with your fingernails, or?
We didn't think that far ahead. So I think we used a butter knife.
Oh, oh,
it
oh, the
was,
brutality, bro. Oh my
it was
goodness.
pretty gnarly. It was,
Oh man. Now, I mean, you've already revealed that you look like you're setting up some angles with the infamous Gerald Horton and the legendary Catfish Rob, which are, two of the main characters here in the Louisiana Swamp League, man. But there's so many other people here, brother. I mean, that's the beauty of it. I mean, like I mentioned, we mentioned Legion earlier. I mean, I don't know how much you've caught of this 3 foot 11 and a half midget that's going around calling himself the king of tag. But keep your eyes to the ground because he's been infamous for headbutting people in the nuts, man. So just
oh, that's awesome.
oh yeah, you know what? He's gotten fired. He's gotten arrested. So watch out for Pipsqueak. Yeah, him and his damn pigeon-toed wife who calls herself the queen. Man, be on the lookout for those two.
All right.
Oh yeah, she's mastered the art of midget tossing. So that's their finisher right there. She does the midget toss and tosses them into people's groins. So.
Oh, that's hilarious. It's like it reminds me. You just saying that it reminds me of Wolf of Wall Street, where they talk about getting the midgets in the office. Like you gotta look like you're looking them in the eye. You gotta look at their chin. Like
Oh no. Oh man, but
we need a dark gun. We need a dark gun.
there's so many characters here in the Louisiana Swamp League, man. I mean, I love the crew here because you got someone like Timothy Clark who runs a more traditional base character. I mean, BTY is one of his main characters, and he's just muscle on top of muscle. So he's like I think of him kind of like what was the guy's name from the big Russian guy from WCW.
Nikita Koloff.
Nikita Koloff. Yes, that's
You
what
know,
I see him like BTY. Just muscle on top of muscle, just pounding on fools.
yeah,
Oh man, but yeah, no, there's some good characters here that I enjoy. Every cycle we get brand new trash talk. We get and shout out to the LSL guys because they have their own YouTube channel where they kind of review the happenings and keep everybody up to date as to the different titles. Because just so you know, I mean, obviously commissioners have their own sets of titles,
yeah,
and these guys there's so many titles that you can compete for through the trash talk and through, just, the angle based side that it just makes it, that much more appealing. The diamond drop being the title of all titles in the commissioner realm. So I mean that's the one that, we all shoot for, especially us trash talkers, so,
Yeah,
you know,
it's angle. It's
yeah.
more.
You'll get your league shot. So once you get that league shot, you got to have thrive for something else, and that diamond drop is their, like, the golden ticket there. That's the one. It's like I want to get my
Yeah,
hands on that one. But yeah, no, man. The in terms of you said your main character is
the
the
Red
red
Riot.
the Red
Yeah,
Riot.
he's like the leader. That's pretty much like me.
Nice, nice. Now, I saw the record, so you come with history. You come with, records that put you in a position to win. In terms of starting again, how are you writing introductions to the characters, or are you gonna, kind of put any thought into that in terms of what you're planning?
I think I'm gonna write some kind of like brief bio. I gotta go back and remember like whenever I was before I took the two breaks, because that was like the last time that I was really, probably like 2016 was the last time that like I was really playing hard. I got to go back and backtrack all them and get some of the background and bring all that out. Uh, I guess to make the characters pop more. I guess you would say, to like introduce them better. So
I have an idea of their style, but yeah, I think just, similar to this new guy Legion, like you said, first thing that pops into the head is just dark and, like, wow,
yeah,
like I think that'll help, kind of like you said, make the characters pop.
yeah,
But no, man, I'm really looking forward to it, Jason. And like I said, I enjoy having, managers come back, and like you said, the nostalgia factor is always there with this game because, different people played it, different people, get involved with the game. So when you get a chance to come back and, like, who's still here, who's around that I remember. I think
yeah,
more than anything, that's why I want to do these shows so that people can, hear the managers and, kind of get to know them a little deeper and, you know, be able to work angles. Because I mean, like you said, your dad was a wrestler. I'm sure they talked, angles and, bumps and who's going to take what win, what loss before the match actually starts. And so that's kind of what I want to bring into the game.
yeah. Yeah, I can remember being a little kid and going with my dad to a couple, and then like he kind of gave it up because he had lived out of state. I'm from Pennsylvania. He was in Maryland. He didn't. He got to see me like once every couple months. So like he kind of gave it up, and moved back to our hometown, which is Lewistown in PA. Uh, and then he still like I can remember going to like the old ECW shows or like ACW. My dad helped book an ECW show one time in my hometown at the gym, and then I can remember actually Hacksaw Jim Duggan.
Nice.
I used to have a 2x4 signed by him in a match, and I got to ride in a limousine with him to an LIP that he did an autograph signing, and then I got to ride in a van with like him, Tito Santana, Matt Bourne, the original Doink, the
Yeah,
Z Man.
that's
I've
freaking
met like
that's
a
bitching
lot
right
of
there.
wrestlers. I got to meet my favorite wrestler, which is Raven, my all-time favorite
Nice.
wrestler. At the first time I met him was at the gym at the high school, and it was actually right before he was going to Raven. He was Scotty Flamingo. I think it was. It was either him or Johnny Pole. It was something, you know what I mean? It was like it was transitioning between Johnny Polo and Raven. He was doing shows for ECW, and my dad picked him up in Philly and drove him to Lewistown for the show. And I actually remember him playing two songs. One was a No Effects song, and one was The Offspring Come Out and Play. And he was like, "Which one do you like better?" And I said, "The Offspring song." And he used that for his ECW entrance theme for his whole
That's
time in ECW.
nice. That's fucking cool. I mean, and
So,
stories like that, Jason. Like I said, I mean, like I said, I know we talked a little before it, but when I hear stuff like that, and just I guess the fan side of the wrestling, comes out. I mean,
yeah,
I've always told people, like, well, I'm wrestling illiterate, brother. I grew up in LA. I didn't have any small promotion. It sucked over here being a wrestling fan, bro. So I mean, I got to see a little of the Hogan and the Macho Man Warrior stuff on TV, but yeah, we were really wrestling deprived here in LA, man. Especially when coming from a broke back family. It's like I was all broke, and no, we didn't have no cable, we didn't have none of that, so.
Yeah.
Oh man, but man, we made do with the little wrestling that we got, but oh
I can
man, but
remember I can remember being a teenager. Whenever I was a teenager, tape trading was really popular. Like VCR tapes. So I remember going online and it was like $9 a VCR tape, and I would order it, like whichever ones I'd wanted. I had a job back then, and then I went and bought a double VCR, one of the old double VCRs.
nice.
You know what I mean? And then I
Started
just
dub.
started trading tapes. Like that's sort like that was back whenever like it was 56 whatever dial up. You know what I mean? Like
Oh yeah, you're
it was
talking.
real slow. It was really slow. Like so that was like
I
tape
remember.
trading.
Yeah, I actually do remember those 56 dial-ups, man. Dang.
I was actually on my last Facebook page years ago before I got incarcerated this time, and I lost my Facebook page. This is actually kind of hilarious. I was on like a nostalgic '90s page, and it was like the question was one thing you don't miss from the '90s, and I was like, porn taking so long to download. You know what
Yeah.
I mean? Because it was like, yeah, a 5 minute clip. Yeah, I'd download it before school, and you'd get off school, and it'd just be done downloading. Like
Oh
everyone's like,
man.
Jesus, man, I can't believe you put that on there, but that's the truth. I'm like, well, I'm the only one that says it. Like all these guys here are thinking the same thing. It's my age. Like,
Oh, that's classic. Yeah, that's hilarious right there, brother. You're like, dang it, man. I'm glad we got to this day and age.
yeah,
Oh man. Yeah, Jason. I mean, like I told you before, man. I do these shows to get to know the managers, get to know, all the different, the play style is what interests me. Like, yeah, just in talking to you, like I said, I've known your work from other leagues, and I know that you are, you like the angle base, you like, promoting and pushing your characters. So, I think the LSL will be a good, launching base for you. Obviously we talked about some other places, like I said, off air that, might fit that style as well. So, eventually as when things settle, we'll see where two XW ends up, brother. But
yeah. So far I like the LSL. Like I said, I like the you know what I mean? Like the product that I seen before I started, that kind of, I was debating on where to go, and then I talked to you, and I seen the product. You sent me those, what, 3 bulletins? I think you emailed them to me or something like that.
right, yeah,
I seen the product and like it, so I'm like, yeah, I'll use this as a launching point. I'm kind of waiting to see what happens, with my characters and stuff. Uh, it's gonna be fun. I'm gonna have fun doing it like I always do.
nice, man. Don't hold back. Like I said, I know now that it's a little bit different because we used to play this game. It was anonymous. You're sending the stuff in, and then you'd wait for the bulletin to come back to see if anybody said anything. I honestly like this way better because now I'm working with you, and I like, go ahead, take my eye out. Go ahead, rip,
Yeah,
I do it. I don't mind. Like, let's rock. I'll work the angle. We'll play. We'll play the role. So
yeah. Like you say this because it's like I can talk to the people that I'm dealing with and be like, oh, like this would be awesome, or this would be awesome, or like, why don't you do this? And like, you know what I mean? Like, I like that. To me, that's like, it keeps it going. It
oh
keeps
yeah,
it.
I remember when the Pipsqueak character started punching people in the nuts or headbutting them in the nuts. They put him in a scaffold match. And I'm thinking in the back of my head, there's nothing I'd rather see more than a freaking 3.5'11" midget going up against this big old 6'6" guy on a scaffold. I mean, I'm like, that's what he gets, the little damn bastard.
Right. That's funny. That concept, like,
Oh, Yeah, there's some like I think you mentioned earlier, possibly doing some war game matches, and I think having a series like that goes a few cycles. Oh man, to me that's gold right there, brother. Like yeah,
Yeah,
if you can work that angle out, oof.
yeah. That it just I think it keeps me personally, even being the manager, kind of knowing it still keeps me on the edge of my seat. So like the people that aren't involved in the feud or angle per se, like I know I like to read other people's trash talk and stuff. I like to I like to I like it's like sort of like watching a TV show but reading it, if that makes sense. It's the
Yeah,
best
most
way I can
definitely.
put it. Like I like knowing what's going on with this person or that person. Like it just keeps me on the edge of my seat. So I like it.
Oh man, I think it's gonna be a fun couple of first cycles, and I think maybe even more, brother. But Jason, any last thoughts, any last word you want to put on this show here for the fans listening? Any warnings? Any fair? Hey, like I said, the airwaves are open for you, brother. So
I mean, anything could happen. 2XW, they're a little out there. They're a little crazy. You never know who they're going to attack or what they're going to do. I'm coming. I definitely want to get the league champion a couple times. Uh, Catfish, Corton. Let's take it to the extreme and see where the angle can go.
I like I, I like it, brother. I like it, man. Guys, you've been listening to myself, IWA Flip, and new LSL manager Jason Wagner, manager of 2XW. I said, you have been warned. The staple gun will come out sooner or later. Jason, glad to talk to you, man. Glad to have you on. We'll see you guys. I hope we see you back, brother. Like I said, I definitely want to have you back on. Hopefully with a couple of the other managers and get a couple more of these shows rocking.
Yeah, it's been a pleasure, man. It's been a pleasure being on. Thanks for having me, and I can't wait to, like I said, I can't wait to see what happens.
Sounds good, brother. You guys, we'll catch you guys next time. Take care.